Good afternoon. It's good to be with you again, and pretty excited about what we're going to share with you this afternoon. We've been referred to as the gateway of the hill country. We talk about the number of visitors that we get to our historic downtown, and someone's got to be behind the scene making sure that that word gets out. So I want to introduce you this afternoon to Larry Woods, what are you anyway? Director of CVB.
Director of the
Convention Visitors Bureau.
That's correct.
Larry, thank you for all the work that you do for the city of Boerne, and I know you've got some great staff. Would you introduce them to everybody, please?
Mayor, it's good to have you here at the CVB. At first, I'd like to introduce Jeanette Teague, our Assistant Director of the Convention Visitors Bureau.
Thank you.
And Tori Bellows, who is our Marketing Specialist. And these folks, well, just one or two others, were the ones that promote Boerne as a tourism destination.
That's great. That's great. And we do that in a big way, and we're going to get to some of that in just a little while. But one of the things that a common question that I get is, how do we fund CVB through taxes? How are those taxes done? How does all of this happen that we're able to advertise, tell other people about what goes on in Boerne, Texas?
It is by taxes, which is occupancy tax. If you stay in a hotel in Boerne, you pay a 13% occupancy tax. 6% automatically goes to the state. 7% comes back to the city, and by state laws, rules, and regulations, we have to use a certain percentage of that money to promote our city as a tourism destination and support the CVB and all our marketing and advertising.
Right. And so all rental properties, all hotels,
yes.
B&Bs,
RBBOs,
all of those participate in that
absolutely.
process. Okay.
Certainly do.
And so tell us about how many hotels that we've got and a little bit of that background on how those dollars then get to us.
We have 7 hotels within the incorporated city of Boerne, representing 435 hotel rooms, and it's that tax that you pay when you stay there that comes back to the city, and it's generated by those hotels. And on an annual basis, we take that money and market and advertise. We are doing very, very well. Last year, the hotels represented about $9 million in revenue, and then we have what we call incremental sales. It's about $95 per occupied room per night. People spend that $95 on gas or food or such. So our 435 rooms generated about $17 million in revenue for the city last year.
Wow. So that factor of those people that we know that are coming into the town,
right,
staying in these hotels and B&Bs, are generating the income then, the annual income that we receive back just from what's sitting inside the city limits.
That's right.
Nothing that's going outside of that.
That's right.
And then that factor that we know if they're going to come in here and spend the night in a hotel someplace, they're going to go on out and spend X amount of dollars, be it food or whatever the case. So it's a continual then from there, hotel motel tax as we refer to, now we've got sales tax coming in as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great.
Yep.
Great. I know that we don't hear as much about it now as we once did, Larry, and that was Hurricane Harvey,
right,
and the devastation that it did along our coastline and certainly in the Houston area.
Right.
But that affected us here. How did that affect us here?
Well, it's odd. When the hurricane came on that Friday 6 months ago, I knew, based on history and where folks come from, that 70% of our market was going to be affected from Houston and the coastal bend. So we immediately met with my staff and we said we're going to change our marketing and advertising away from those areas into Austin, up to Temple and Waco and what have you. We have pretty much an in-house advertising agency. We do all of our creative, ad placement, social media, so we control all that. We were able to change it right away. And I'm happy to say that there was only 1 week, and that's the second week after the hurricane, where our occupancies dipped only about 3%. Other than that, every week since that hurricane, we have been up at least 5 to 9% in occupancy since then. So we came out pretty good.
Do we know, I know that we had an awful lot of folks that stayed here, that got transplanted here from Hurricane Harvey. Do we still have some of those folks in our immediate area, or pretty much everyone gone?
Everybody is gone.
Okay.
And they're still in Houston hotels, but out in our area, no, they've already left.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then from the hotel tax, tell us a little bit more about the kind of growth that we've been realizing. So whatever, I know that they go by our fiscal year or calendar year, which we're paid.
They go on an annual. in January. They start their year in January.
Okay.
We've been very fortunate, and I'll give you last year as an example. We were up 9% in occupancy, and about $890,000 in revenue over the previous year.
Nice.
And over the last 10 years, we've had a steady increase annually, and it just keeps going up.
That's fine. Yeah. That's great. And that's out of those 7. Now, we all know that there's a new one coming.
There is.
Tell us about the bevy.
The bevy, we're so excited about this. We've been working with the developers and trying to get a new hotel for about 3 years now. And the bevy is going to open up hopefully by next April, May, and it's going to be 120 rooms and just under 8,000 square feet of meeting space. And why we're really excited about that is we anticipate about 75% of the guests staying in the bevy will be new business that is not coming to Boerne because of the meeting space. We will actually have the opportunity to book meetings, small conferences and such. And that hasn't existed, so we're real excited about that. And I will tell you that Jeanette, who you just met, and I have been in Austin making sales calls, and people are very, very excited. And we are turning over leads right now to the bevy, and I think we're going to do very, very well. It's going to have a fabulous restaurant, outdoor pool, exercise room. It's going to be a full-service hotel.
You mentioned the other day, I think when we were talking, I said, what's the expected opening date? And you hedged, which you typically do. You gave me April and May, but I bumped into the developer at lunch today, Ross Bartlow. I said, so when do you, I wanted to test what you had told me.
Okay.
And I asked him, when do you go? He said April. I said, you don't think that'll bleed over to May? No, April. So I like his attitude already. The sooner we get that open, the better.
Well, I learned something though.
Okay, well, we both did at that point. Let's see, we've also, tell us about the number of visitors. Not only do you do the advertising, which you've mentioned, we've talked about the revenue and how we get all of that.
Okay.
But you also serve another function, and that is the number of people that just come on by here and say, tell me about Boerne, Texas.
It's fun. We into our visitor center here, we on an annual basis get 12 to 15,000 people that walk through the front doors that are looking for information. And that number is continually going up over the last few years, but now it's going down a little bit. And the reason for that is a GPS. People have phones and they can go right to the source and go right to downtown. And so we're seeing a few people that just don't need our services here, but we're still doing very, very well. And so I'm real excited about that. And when you look at the number of hotel rooms, when we calculated it out, we had about 152,000 people stay in our hotels last year.
Wow.
That's a lot of people.
Wow. Well, right now where we're doing this from is Larry's office at the CVB, which is sitting on the same grounds as Walmart.
Right.
I understand, I've been a part of, we're going to have a new CVB.
We're excited. We are really excited.
Well, you've certainly shown that when you've come to city council meetings.
No, we are. And the challenge that we have, and people don't understand, is why do you need a new CVB? You're in a great property. This is a great historic property. It's like a park, the setting that we're in. But the challenge is people come here and everybody's on the way to somewhere else, be it Fredericksburg or Bandera or Curve or what have you. And our challenge is to get them in their car and get them to stop again downtown and go shop and eat and spend a little bit of money. So our new CVB will be right downtown at Main and Loman Street. It's going to be a beautiful 2,800 square foot building. Hopefully we'll get started in June or July, and it'll be 9 months later that we'll be in it. And we cannot wait to get in.
I've seen the renderings of that. Obviously, we've shown that to council, and it will be a great presence to have CVB downtown.
We're excited.
Right there. So
we'll be able to tell people to walk out the front door and hit Main Street.
There you go.
There you go.
This was his office, as I mentioned. What I want to do, Larry, is if you'll take us now out to what do our visitors that come here, what do they see when they come in the CVB?
Let me show
us that.
All right.
You bet. Holly, follow us. Oh, but before you do that, would you introduce us to this lovely lady here behind the counter?
I'd love to.
Okay.
This is Erica Yant. She's our customer service representative. She's the person that you will see when you come here.
Okay.
And she will tell you anything and everything you want to know about Boerne in the Hill Country. And if she doesn't know it, she'll find somebody that does.
How long have you been here, Erica?
I have been here since October.
All right. Well, we're already a seasoned person here. So you've got all the knowledge, and you get to be greeted by you when you come in the door.
Yes.
All right. Tell us about all the information that we've got here and what they see here.
One thing people really like, and this is our visitor's guide. This is a guide that we produce here in the office. We do all the creative, all the text inside of it. It's supported by advertising in the book, but this is in every hotel room in the city every day. It's also available downtown and certainly here at the Visitor Center, but it's a great guide. It'll tell you everything you pretty much need to know about the Boerne. We also have plenty of information on our restaurants, shops, antique stores. We have all that information, but one thing that we do, and we have a great relationship, is with our other Hill Country cities. Bandera, Kerrville, Fredericksburg, New Braunfels, and San Marcos. We work together, and we know that there's plenty of people coming to town, and we like telling people about ourselves, so we cross-pollinate our guests and get people in the Hill Country first.
Right. Larry, so when you go out with the advertising, when you go to Houston or Austin, where you've been in the past, even on the material that we would find here, what is it that the message that we're trying to get across to someone else that might be reading it and saying, you know, I want to go buy that place?
The thing that we hear, and we've done surveys, we've talked to our customers and people all over when Jeanette and I go at trade shows, people love the fact that Boerne is small, it's quaint, it's historic, but more importantly, the people are just absolutely the friendliest folks you'd ever want to find in the Hill Country. They love coming here, they feel comfortable here. Depending upon who you are, you know, it's wineries or fruit or what have you, but the thing that we've done in the last several years is we tout ourselves as the hub of the Hill Country. Come stay with us in Boerne, and you're less than 50 miles from San Antonio, Bandera, Kerrville, Fredericksburg, and New Braunfels. So you stay with us here in our hotels, you day trip to all those places. And one thing that we've done is we put together 1, 2, or 3 day itineraries that'll tell you where to go and what to see while you're staying here.
That's great. You know, you just mentioned that the big difference is the people here, and it reminded me of a story. It was about a week or two ago that the Boerne Performing Arts had their concert here with the 10 Tenors, and after the show, there were 2 ladies there in the lobby talking that they had gotten either an Uber or a taxi cab out here. They were visiting from New York. So they came all the way out to Boerne to go to this concert with 10 tenors. Problem was, it's now over with, and they walked outside, and guess what? There weren't a lot of cabs lined up there, which we don't see in Boerne. There were no Uber cars there, but one of our citizens here overheard their conversation, got them over, put them in her car, drove them down to the rim, waited with them until a cab came and got them and took them to their hotel.
You can't beat that.
The difference is you, which we mentioned just a little while ago. Wanted to mention also the CVB website, visit boerne.org. And then what kind of plug do you want to put in for all your newsletters and your blogs and
social media?
Between Tori and Jeanette, I mean, you got it going all over the place.
Facebook, Pinterest, we do it all. You can find us at the website. There's plenty of information. We are told all the time that our website just has so much information on it. We update it daily. We blog. Erica is our blogger. She's a blogging machine, so she gets out there and lets people know what's going on an ongoing and regular basis. So we have the best job in the world. We have a fabulous product to sell in Boerne, Texas. This is fun. We are in the hospitality business, and we are blessed.
What is one of the most unique things that you want to leave people with today about the CVB and their function to Boerne, Texas?
I think we're just very good ambassadors for the city. We try very hard to answer people's questions, point them in the right direction. We get some of the most unusual requests, and we turn nobody away. I'll tell you real quickly, about 2 years ago, a young man walked in the front door with his girlfriend, and he was a stout young man. And he came in and he said, I just got home from Afghanistan 2 days ago. And I told myself, if I made it back home, I'm going to Texas and I'm going to ride a bull. Where can I ride a bull? And we got on the phone and made a bunch of phone calls and found out that there was a little rodeo in Bandera that very night. We gave him the information. He came in the next morning. grinning from ear to ear. He said, "I did it." I said, "How long did you last?" He goes, "I don't remember."
Yeah.
But he had the best time.
But he was walking.
He was walking.
Okay,
So
and he
that's
didn't
what we
abandon it.
That's what we do.
That's great. That's a great example. Thanks for what you do for
Mayor,
the city of Boerne.
Mayor, thank you for
Appreciate
supporting
it.
us. Thank you.
You
You're
betcha.
our number one sales guy.
Just a couple of things that I told you folks that I would come back and share with you from our last city council meeting on February the 27th. What was approved was an overlay district for the North Perf Road area. We also accepted a grant for our rifle resistant body armor for our police department. We did annex into the city, believe it or not. It was not, but we finally got it done, annexed into the city, the wastewater treatment and recycling center. That has been done. This next Tuesday, which is the 13th of March, some items that you might be interested in and want to come by City Council. One of them is our Boerne Police Department, our 2017 annual report. This includes the annual report, which we must do on racial profiling. That's a very important one. And the other one is the annexation of the Curry Creek Baptist Church on Cascade Caverns. So, that concludes this segment, and we will see all of you in a couple of weeks. Back to you. Bye-bye.